Mr. President, it's with a very heavy heart that I stand today in the Senate to talk about the death of two Americans last week. One tragedy is tearing our communities apart. The other may well help show us a path back toward unity. We all know about the brutal, senseless killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis last Monday. There's no excuse for what the police did to Mr. Floyd. His killers are being brought to justice. His death, we hope, will not be remembered for the senseless violence launched falsely in his name, but rather, hopefully, in the long-term reform of policing policies across our country. In my home state of Utah, the city of Ogden is mourning another death, that of police officer Nate Lyday. On Thursday, May 28th, a woman called 911 saying that her husband was threatening her life. Lyday and a group of officers arrived promptly at the house. The man began shooting at them from inside the home. Lyday was mortally wounded. He was just 24 years old. He was about to celebrate his 5th wedding anniversary with his wife, Ashley. He had been on the job as a police officer for just 15 months. By all accounts, he did that job honorably and completely up to the last moment. Nate Lyday was an officer who sought to uphold justice and protect the innocent, even making the ultimate sacrifice on behalf of a threatened and fearful family. Nate Lyday was a son of Ogden, as Police Chief Randy Watts said. Ogden was where he was born and raised, where he went to high school, and where he worked out on a regular basis at the Fresh Market on 20th Street, and where he got his degree in criminal justice from Weber State University. And it was where he was proud to serve and protect his community as a sworn police officer. According to Lieutenant Brian Einan, Lyday was an officer who worked over and above the call of duty. Einan said that whenever he passed Lyday in the hallways, the young officer would always smile at him, even before he had a chance to smile first. As his colleagues, his friends, and his classmates remember him, Nate Lyday made everyone around him feel like a friend, no matter how well they knew him, because they were indeed his friends. This Saturday, while far too many other communities throughout our nation were tearing themselves apart, Ogden came together. Hundreds of Ogden residents gathered near the front steps of the Ogden City Municipal Building to honor the memory of George Floyd and to call for nationwide police reform. But this was not a divisive event designed to make everyone choose sides between police and protesters. As Malik Deo, an Ogden activist and organizer, said of that day, quote, "This is a peaceful protest. This is not an anti-cop rally. This is a solidarity rally," close quote. The protesters at that event honored George's memory. They condemned racism, and they called for policing reforms. But they also thanked the officers who were there, the same officers who were there protecting them and protecting their First Amendment rights to speak freely and gather peacefully. And they honored the memory of Officer Lyday, who lost his life answering the call of duty just a few days before. I gave them my condolences for their fallen officer, our fallen officer, because we're all part of the same community, Deo said of the police after the protest. And Deo is right. Nate Lyday's loss is our loss. George Floyd's loss is our loss. And we ought to honor and remember them both. We must all work to uphold justice for all. Both of these tragic, horrific deaths last week show us just how far we still have to go to achieve this goal. It's work that must be undertaken by each and every one of us, each and every day. But we cannot do that work by pitting ourselves against one another. Race versus race, police versus protester. We will never move forward if we continue to reduce human beings to the color of their skin or the color of their uniform. We're all one nation, and it will only be in standing and working together in peaceful solidarity that we can finally heal the wounds in our nation. What the people of Ogden did this weekend is an example for us all, and it is a reason for hope. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.